All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. Today is Thursday, November 20th, 2025. We get together most weekday mornings for our daily Zoom. Please note we will not have any Zooms next week because of the holiday. Today, we're going to go back and review the nonprofit's website, make sure that everyone is familiar with the available resources and information there. And then, of course, field any questions, comments, concerns that any of you have. The best way to address those is simply to type in the Q&A if you have a question, and we'll be able to take those as we proceed. All right, so we're on 509pacific.org. Nothing changed here, but for the past week or so, we've been really focusing on the free funding proposals. So that's obviously still available. Just because it's not on the screen doesn't mean that's gone away. But at the core of who we are and what we do, let's look at some of the resources that are available and then answer any questions that any of you have. So on 509pacific.org, there are three components to the home page. At the top, we have information about quick cash. If you're not familiar with it, there's an on-demand training if you want to participate. The link is right there, very transparent. Scroll down to the middle of the page. At the middle of the page, here we have information about participating in the grant, whereby we're providing a free Shelf Corp and the quick cash. So normally you wouldn't need to do this if you're doing this, because this includes the quick cash and the Shelf Corp. Again, we want everyone to understand how it works, what it does. So there are four trainings that we request. I can't say that we demand it because we don't measure, we don't hold people accountable, but we request that before anyone enrolls in the grant program, that they familiarize themselves with the process. And we're going to get to that in a moment. We're going to go to these four trainings as part of our discussion. So we'll come back to that. But then anyone that wants to participate, again, the grant packet is right here. Very transparent, very easy. At the bottom of the page, we have the ability to become what we call a reseller. And to be a reseller, it's best summarized as a white label or private label. So you can be a distribution partner. You go out under your branding, you set your pricing. And so then you wouldn't drive people to our enrollment page. You would have your own landing page that we provide for free. We provide free leads, free drip marketing, and so forth. So again, at the top, the quick cash standalone. In the middle is our bread and butter, give it through the grant, giving away Shelf Corps and the 20,000 of quick cash. And then if you want to become a distribution partner, it's here. With becoming a distribution partner, again, they do ask that you watch those same four trainings that we mentioned, which we're going to go through momentarily. There's a link to get set up as a reseller, real easy, very transparent. And then we have our daily live Zooms, which we're recording now. Anyone's welcome to join these. So before I get over into the free training page, which we've referred to a couple times, let's stick with the three, I guess we'll call it the three programs. The quick cash program, the free Shelf Corp with the quick cash, and the distribution partner, what we call reseller. Anyone have questions on anything that I've covered or didn't cover on this page from these three options? So Eric's asking, can he do the Shelf Corp and the quick cash? Well, sure. I mean, anyone's welcome to do whatever you want, but that's normally not the intent, because what we've discussed over the past week is that if a client is just looking for funding, we can take them right into funding. They don't have to get a Shelf Corp. And that's on fundingproposal.org. We've talked about that multiple times. I can pull it up here if you want. Funding. Oops, if I could type it correctly, fundingproposal.org forwards over to this landing page. So here, this is if someone needs the Shelf Corp before they go to funding. However, some people don't need a Shelf Corp or don't want a Shelf Corp. They can go to fundingproposal.org and go right into the funding process. Good question, Eric. All right, so let's go ahead and then go over to the training resources. We added this a while back, and I think it was well overdue because before anyone enrolls as either a participant, a grant participant, or even as a distribution partner, it's important that we have a common set of understanding of how this works, how the financial world works, just so we're all on the same page. So a while back, we added these free training resources, which again, there's a link on the bottom of the website. So let's briefly go through why these are important. Even if you don't want to be a distribution partner, even if you don't want to be a grant participant, I would encourage you to watch these trainings because I think it will help you even outside of our relationship. All right, so the first training we have is called the 27 Mistakes. So again, this is not a sales presentation, but it's preparing the viewer to understand what are things that could go wrong? What are things that could keep a business from getting funded? And then, of course, what can we do to avoid that? So this is a really important preparatory message. I know a number of you are going out and just simply teaching this to create your sales funnel. And I don't know who, we don't have a tight management system of who's out teaching this. But if I recall, I believe Mr. Certain is out teaching this at churches and chambers. Who else? I think Mr. Newton may be doing that, Mr. St. Pierre. So a number of you are using this as a sales funnel to bring people in. Don't have to do that, but it's available here. And certainly if you've not watched it, I encourage you to do so. So then we move from what are things that can keep a business from getting funded to how can we help? What's this grant all about? What does it provide? So this training here ties to our value proposition of giving away the Shelf Corps and the quick cash. So it ties together. So now we are talking about specifically how do we help people legally and ethically qualify for funding. So very important. The third training is really valuable because it describes the timeline, like Mr. May is asking a question about timeline. So when we get into timeline and the why do we do things the way we do it, who is involved, who's going to support the client through each step of the process, that's where we're going to learn it on this training. So very valuable. I would say this is less valuable for a prospective participant, but certainly anyone that's participating, they should certainly go through this so they know what to expect. We never want a client to say, well, I don't know where I'm at, or I don't know what's next, or I just want funding. I was talking to one of our clients who's also a distribution partner yesterday, and he said, I need funding by the end of this week. And he's not to that point. His business isn't yet fundable. So that was a learning moment for him because I needed to direct him back to this. He's a great guy. He's ambitious. He may need money. He may want money, but he's not ready for that larger capital raise. And this training explains the process and why that is true. The fourth and final training on the free training resources is just one type of funding that we can facilitate, that we can provide access to. I was talking to a different one of our distribution partners earlier this week, and he misunderstood. He thought this was the only type of funding. No, that's not true, but it's one of the most sought after, and so this training explains it. So anyone that has not gone through those four trainings, we recommend. So with that, let's dig into very practically, what is it that you need to know? If your goal is to get funding to start or grow a business, then you're in the right spot. The question becomes, do you have a fundable business to use? If so, You probably don't need a Shelf Corp. You're still welcome to get one, but instead, you're probably ready to go to fundingproposal.org, and we can go right into the funding phase. All right, I see that Anthony has a question. So he's asking, what's the difference between being an affiliate and a reseller? Great question. So, an affiliate, the term affiliate in the industry is normally where you just simply refer people to a merchant and you get paid based upon a conversion. You don't have to train, you don't have to sell, you don't have to pay anything. You just refer in and get paid. So we have an affiliate program. The way to participate, which I think is what Anthony's getting to as an affiliate, is go to fundingproposal.org. It'll forward to this. Each of you will get your own landing page that'll look like this, but it'll be unique. So in other words, the numerical tracking at the end will track to you versus our main one. And so then as an affiliate, you'll have a landing page, you refer in people, you get paid $250 on the front end, which isn't bad for an affiliate payout. And then if you're set up as a reseller, then you get 5% of the client's capital raise. And some people say, well, 5%, that doesn't sound like much. But our average capital raise is in that 1 to 3 million range. So even at the low end, 5% of a million is 50,000 for referring someone in. So that's the affiliate platform. In contrast, the reseller is more involved, as I alluded to earlier. As a reseller, and there's no cost to be a reseller, but as a reseller, you are white labeled, private labeled, whatever term you want to use. You're able to set your own pricing, and now you're making thousands of dollars on the front end and the 5% on the back end. So certainly more lucrative to be a reseller than just an affiliate, but there's more involved. So you really have to decide what you want to do. We're recommending in most cases just start as an affiliate. It's easy, it's quick. Come over here and put yourself through it. As a reseller, the ticket to the dance is either to go through this and participate yourself or refer your first person in to fundingproposal.org, have them go through it, you'll still get paid. But once you've demonstrated that you can take one person and get them in to the funding proposal process, and of course they participate, then we're happy to set up the free affiliate platform for you. All right, so then let's go back. So that's the difference between the affiliate. You go to fundingproposal.org, fill this out, either go through it yourself or submit someone once you have one person in. Then we can set you up as an affiliate, no cost. As a reseller, we provide also a free landing page and leads and so forth, but it is accessed here. So our bigger, no, that's not right. Our more involved distribution partners almost always want to be a reseller because they want to be more involved, they want to control their pricing. But this is not a good fit for everyone. It may be best to just start as an affiliate. And can you be both? Of course, you can be both. All right. Some of you, like Rod's, asking questions about your individual account. And as you can imagine, we have, well, you don't know, but we have 631 of you on right now. So, Rod, I don't know what's going on with your client account as a participant. This is not the right format. But there is a phone number, right? Our customer service number that's answered live during office hours. But if everyone's on the phone, it'll go into voicemail, leave a message. But you can certainly call and get individual status. All right, so then I see Brian's got a good question as far as if he's a referral partner, what type of feedback does he get? Great point. So if you are an affiliate where you get this landing page, really, other than, hey, you've earned a commission, well, the first time you earn a commission, we'll get a W-9 and direct deposit form and send it to you the next day. But the point is, until there's a commission earned as an affiliate, you're really not involved. So no, you wouldn't want to be an affiliate and start asking for a bunch of status updates. It's either you've earned a commission or not. So it's simple. We're not going to spend as much time training and supporting because it's a simple role. As a reseller, it's much different. So most of our resellers, we actually have weekly live calls, one-on-one calls, and we're going through their entire book of business. In other words, where's every client at? What do we need to do? What can we do to move them forward? So reseller, more involved. It's a different model. Recommend going through the trainings, and then you can get set up as if you want. But in most cases, I'd recommend starting as an affiliate. All right, Franz has a follow-up, and it seems he's wanting a deeper understanding of the difference between being an affiliate and a reseller beyond what I said. So it comes down to you as an individual. Being an affiliate, it's simple, right? You don't have to really allocate much time. You drive people into your landing page and you get paid. It's nearly passive. I mean, you have to drive them to your landing page, but it's almost passive. It's easy, and that's what affiliate programs are designed to do. So this is great if you're just looking to make a little extra money on the side. Now, when we say little, we expect you to make right about 50,000 per person you submit in because of the 5% on the back end, as long as you're set up properly. So at 50,000 per referral, it's better than the stick in the eye. And you've got people on here that, Corinthian, an extra 50,000 per referral is not going to pay for her caviar at lunch today at the country club. But for the average person, 50,000 for referring someone in that goes through the process is a good shake, good income. It is important, again, don't want to beat a dead horse, but the reseller role is more involved. If you don't have some bandwidth to allocate either yourself or some staff to allocate, the reseller role, it doesn't have to be full time, but it's more involved. And so that's why we reopened the affiliate. At one point, we had 10,000 affiliates a couple years ago, but we shut that down because so many of them said they wanted to be more involved as a reseller, more income, more control, more involvement. But again, we've cycled back because we learned not everyone is well suited for this, which requires a little more sophistication, a little more involvement. So either one, or you can do both. All right, who else has questions? I'm getting a couple questions, and I think I'm going to defer those to going back and yes, it's important that you understand how everything works, but in this brief morning Zoom, we can't cover everything. So that's why going to 509pacific.org, going to the free training, and watching these four. Now, these four are based upon someone coming in, getting a Shelf Corp, which is phase one, and then going into funding, which is phase two. This will give you the entire process. If all you're doing is being an affiliate, then that training is still fine to see, but it's not quite as relevant because as an affiliate, you're not helping people get a Shelf Corp, you're just putting them right into the funding process. So certainly before you sign up as a reseller, definitely go through this. If all you want to do is be an affiliate, really, you don't need any training. You need your landing page and go. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Gilbert has a question about next week. So normally on a quarterly basis, we have an incentive trip for our top referral partners. And so many of you are going to be joining us in Las Vegas. We're going to the F1 on Saturday. You should have your tickets, which we paid for through the incentive trip, your tickets, your hotel arrangements, and so forth. So you're right. A number of us will be getting together over the break. However, if you're not one of the top performers, you wouldn't have received that incentive trip. And so for the rest of us, we'll regroup the Monday after Thanksgiving. Now, the office is going to be open, staff's going to be working, but our leadership team will be in Vegas, and several of you will be in Vegas. And we have the big dinner planned at the what's called the Top of the World in the Strata, that rotating hotel. So please make sure everyone is there on time. I think it's booked for 6 p.m. on Saturday evening, if I recall. But anyway, regardless, if you've been invited, you should have that information. If you're not sure if you've been invited, you're not sure if you have your plane tickets, call us and we'll get you set up. All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns? So today's goal was to make sure that we understand the big picture, the resources that are on the website, and then for those of you that want to make a difference, for those of you that want to create wealth injections in other people's lives, you have the ability to get paid to help people. And in many cases, we're helping what we call at-risk sectors. It's great to help anyone, but helping people that have had challenges, people that are coming out of the military, people that are coming out of prison, people that are not able to maybe do as well as what you all do in the W-2 world can certainly have unlimited wealth opportunity through entrepreneurship, but they often need funding to start and grow their business. So the comment that Lamy's mentioned, and I'll close on this. Lamy started using the advertising strategy or the marketing strategy we talked about earlier this week, which is getting referrals from others in the lending space and just getting their declines. And what Laney's describing is quote unquote, it's like a fire hose of volume. You may have to shut down or turn off more referrals because if you can get the word out of how we're able to help people, especially with the free funding proposal, there's so many people that have a problem that you can help solve. But if you can't get the word out, no one's going to know. All right. Well, thanks everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning for our last training of the week and last training of the month. Let us know if you need anything. Have a great day. Bye bye.